You're spending hours on LinkedIn, but you're not building your business, your brand, or your bank account. Why? Because you're doing exactly what everyone else is doing. I've personally made over 1.5 million from LinkedIn, and I've coached or mentored over 300 other small business owners to help them win more clients too. And unlike the LinkedIn gurus who just teach you to blend in, I'm going to show you why what you're doing currently isn't working, how to fix it, and how to turn your profile into a conversion magnet. But none of this happens by accident. It starts by understanding the 10 flaws or mistakes that I see people make. And trust me, most people are using the most lucrative social platform out there completely wrong. So let's rip off some of the plasters. Firstly, only posting about biz content, all right? LinkedIn is predominantly, or was primarily, a business-focused platform. Still is, but is so far away from the suit and tie, only sharing like company update style thing that it was like 5 years ago. Now how you see it will all depend on who you're following. So if you haven't curated some decent creators to follow, you are still going to see some of this crap, okay? But I'm going to assume that you are a solopreneur, you are a business owner, or you're going to be one soon. And this still affects like 80% of the content that I see. People only posting about their business. And it's great. I'm not telling you to not post about your business, but what I am telling you to do is not only post about your business and rely on that. So if you think about what people need when they buy, they want a logical connection, but they also want an emotional connection if they're buying from you as a small business owner, all right? You will have probably felt this as well. So if you've ever invested into someone because they have a really good personal brand, chances are they've not only shared logical content or business content, but they've also shared some emotional content too. And that is what I would call personal content. Now, you can, of course, blend these two things together and talk about business and personal at the same time. But my point here is that you need to be able to educate people about who you are as a person. Let's say you are a sales coach, as an example, all right? How many other sales coaches are there on the platform? Probably a hell of a lot. And yes, you are all going to be offering very similar services. Sales coaching, sales calls, sales objection handling training. It might be a sales course. You might have a sales community. But when you have all these similar deliverables to other people on the platform, if you only talk about the deliverables, there's nothing to distinguish you apart from price, all right? There is no brand, proper personal brand being built. So the way that you do that is by including stuff about you as a person. If you think about personal brand, it actually starts with the word person. And this is the thing that will allow people to identify and magnetize towards you emotionally, all right? They'll start to buy into you as a person. This is content and topics about your life, about your journey, about your successes, your failures, things that you love, things that you hate, might be your family, might be your hobbies, all sorts of different things that can make people go, oh, actually, that lands with me because of X reason, all right? Joe Rogan is a perfect example. Massive, I imagine the biggest podcast in the world. Now, of course, he is a stand-up comedian, so he will say a lot of personal stuff, but embedded into his personal brand are other things. So he talks a lot about smoking weed. He talks a lot about aliens. And because of those things, like he may talk about, I don't know, skateboarding is another example I used recently, right? So if you wanted to go and watch a stand-up comic, but you couldn't decide who, and then there's this one guy who you think is just as good as all the other stand-up comics, but he talks about aliens or smoking weed or skateboarding, then you are going to be, even if it's only a tiny bit, more drawn towards him than the others. So this is a continuous cycle. The problem with posting business-only content is boring, because that's what everyone else is doing. So you need to act in a slightly different way if you want slightly different results. So please, when you're looking at this, think about how you can split up that business content with some personal stuff too. And I recommend, just to keep it easy, about a 50-50 split. You'll find that your personal content tends to get a lot more engagement. Your business content won't get as much because everyone's doing it, so kind of point proven. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't post any business content at all. It should just be a little bit more planned and intentional. Mistake number 2, and I can't even remember what these are, so let's just rip it off and see, okay? Messaging new connections. Now, the LinkedIn gurus are going to get all pissy about this one, But I strongly disagree with it. Okay. So part of the daily workflow that we give to our clients is for them to fill up their followers, or to fill up their attention bank with 20 new connections, or 40 new connections if they're on Sales Navigator, every single day. Now that's great. But what we don't want to do is start selling to them on day one or hour one after they've accepted our connection request. There is no relationship there. There's no personal brand equity for a new follower or a new connection to just buy into straight away. So it's much more important, I think, to let these people start to see some of your content and actually be able to go, oh, I like this person, or, you know, there may be some parts of the content that resonate with them. But if you just straight away shoot them a message and try to sell to them, they're just going to be put off and forever. All right. People will always remember that first interaction that they had with you and how it made them feel. And therefore, they're going to judge whatever they see from you based on that. So when it comes to, you know, the typical marketing funnel, you've got attract new attention, nurture it, convert it. What I like to recommend to our clients is that we flip that on its head. All right. And we convert the people who are already closest to giving us money. All right. So this could be people we've got calls with, or people we've had conversations with already. Could be existing clients that you upsell, or past clients, or people that offer referrals to you, or people who've been referred to you, that kind of thing. Rather than going and scraping the bottom of the barrel here when there is no trust. Okay, these people don't even know you, let alone want to give you fucking money. So messaging new connections, a big no-no. Start the other way around. Who are you already connected with that looks like a good fit, or that you've had some form of interaction with before? Number 3, copying influencers. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I'm trying to keep these videos at like 30 minutes there or thereabouts. No promises when we get onto this topic. This could be an hour on its own. So you are going to start to see some people who are absolutely killing it on LinkedIn, or they look like they're killing it, all right? Every single post has got loads of reactions. They're talking about all this passive income. They're telling you these to-do lists and things that you need to do every single day in order to be successful and be like them. Maybe they only work like for half an hour every fortnight or every 2 years, and money just magically comes to them, and you need to manifest your goals and take ice baths and all that shit. Copying them is probably not going to serve you very well. 2 reasons. 1, because of brand, and 2, because of timing. All right. Both of these things are massive, and they're probably not the same for you as they are for the influencer. So let's talk about brand first. All right. If this influencer has, let's say, 200,000 followers, they automatically have a level of credibility, and that's said with air quotes. They automatically have a level of credibility that you probably don't, unless you've got those kind of numbers. So I'll think of a different way to phrase this, or frame it, I should say. If Warren Buffett is to say something very simple and give out some financial advice, people will love it, all right? They'll be creaming over it. They'll absolutely be buzzing off any single quote that he says. But someone else who may just have like, I don't know, 1,000 followers, no big following, they might be really good, but they aren't known on the LinkedIn space or in the online space, says exactly the same thing or something better. People can't buy into that, or won't buy into it as much, because they don't have the same level of brand, okay? And when I say brand, I just mean reputation, word of mouth, invisible word of mouth, and thoughts and feelings, associations and pairings that people have with you or with Warren Buffett, as an example. Okay, so the stuff that works for the big influencers isn't necessarily going to work for you, because you don't have the same level of authority or notoriety or brand as them. And the second thing is timing. So these big influencers didn't get 100,000 followers because they started 3 months ago. They probably got it because they started 3 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever. So as we go further into this like social media landscape, or whatever the hell it is, it gets harder and harder to grow organically, because all these platforms just want you to pay to play. Lots of P words. So the influencers who are using certain tactics day to day, who you see, are probably pushing outdated approaches and techniques. because it's very, very different trying to build a LinkedIn audience now compared to 5 years ago or whatever. So you have to consider these things before you start copying anyone. I wouldn't say you should copy anyone at all anyway. What we want to look for really are patterns, things that we recognize are working, and then adopt them, but also adapt them as well. Some Chinese proverb in there somewhere. I can't remember what it is. Adopt, adapt, adapt, something like that. Anyway, don't copy influencers. The biggest cheat code in personal brand, which is not what you want to hear, it's definitely not why you watch this video, but I'm going to say it anyway, is just being yourself, because no one can copy that. They can copy your funnel, they can copy your business model, they can copy your logo, they can copy your LinkedIn posts, but if your LinkedIn posts are you, they can't be copyable. They're can't be imitated. Number 4, using fucking AI. Don't do it. I'm not going to go into this one. If you use AI for posts, I think it's even worse for comments, you are making yourself look like a fucking idiot. All right? Stop that. It really fucking winds me up. Use AI to help you. Okay? I think that's absolutely fine. If we look at this bar here, 10%, 80%, 10%. I can't remember who said this. Essentially, what most people are doing is they're putting a shit prompt into ChatGPT, who's then doing the work, and then they're copy and pasting it and posting it. All right. What the right people will do will put a good prompt in, get AI to do 80% of the work, and then they will spend a lot of time refining the output. Okay. Polishing or creative directing the output to make sure that it actually sounds like them. So this isn't me saying don't ever use AI. I use it all the time. I've got loads of different GPTs built for us and also built for our clients, so we can build offers in about 30 minutes. So we can skeleton offers, that is. So we can build content strategies and approaches. So we can build DM banks of them that are actually in their tone of voice. But don't use it for your content. Please, we don't give any away for content. There's also a big reason for this, right? I'm sure you've heard of the skill of copywriting. Copywriting is definitely a 7-figure skill, all right? Because it's communication at its most basic form, which is words. And if you don't take the time to learn how to write words, especially about yourself and about your business, you're going to really struggle to communicate it when you actually have to talk about your business and you haven't got a robot behind you telling you exactly what to say. The other thing is there is no differentiation in this. We've all got access to the same shit, all right? We've all got Claude 1.2x and fucking ChatGPT 5 thinking mode and Gemini. I don't even know what the other ones are. I just use ChatGPT. But we have there's no level of differentiation there. So we have to inject personality in order to make it work. As for comments, people hate you. True creators and normal people, the minute that they clock that you are using AI for comments, it makes you look lazy. It makes you look like you don't take things seriously. It makes you look like you're not on the platform to actually build any form of relationship with people. You're just there engaging with content to like tick a fucking weird box. Don't do it. People hate you. Oh, trust me, people hate you. Number 5, underutilizing your featured section. All right. I mentioned before that these platforms want people to pay to play. So they are lessening the reach a lot of the time, year on year, of the organic content. So unless you write some real like banger content, it's going to struggle to go off. The reason that they do this is because they want people to give them money for ads, pay to play. The reason that the LinkedIn featured section is so important is that this is one of the best chances you have of taking someone who's visited your profile off platform and putting them into your email list, or getting them to download a lead magnet, or showing them a webinar, or getting them to book a call or whatever. So we actually really want to make sure that this is optimized. So in my experience, what I've found is best for our clients is we have a call or a conversion link in there. We also have a lead magnet of some description, and then long form. So podcast, YouTube, things like that. You'll have other things that you can sprinkle in there, but I'm trying to keep this nice and short. So the reason that that you don't want to have to pay to play. And the reason that like it's hard, like you haven't got many opportunities, basically, is what I'm saying, to take your desired audience off platform to your desired link without paying for ads, because LinkedIn wants to keep all users on the platform, and therefore it doesn't let you promote posts with links, or it won't push posts with links as far as so I've found. So make sure that your featured section is completely optimized. You don't want a million different options or directions for people to go. You either want to work with me, you want to find out more, or you want to listen to me speak, is the way I look at this kind of thing. Okay, featured section done. We're halfway through. Time check, not bad. Cool. Motivational quotes. And I'm also going to add here stock images. All right. I would much rather see a picture of your face than a picture of a guy who's been paid to have in a suit and tie to look frustrated in an office block. All right. Post your face. Like, not on every picture. It doesn't have to be a selfie. Not to turn into a selfie queen. But posting just motivational quotes that you've bloody gone and found on Google, or even worse, you've used AI to create. Like yours. When I worked back at an agency, right, we had this brand book that we put together. And it had all the mission and the visions and values and stuff. It had all these illustrations. It was brilliant. And it had some quotes in there as well. There was, I don't know, I think it might have been a Tony Robbins one. There was a Gandhi one, I think. And then after the Gandhi one, there was one from the client services director. So he actually, like, and it was his idea as well, position his motivational quote alongside Gandhi and Tony Robbins. And everyone was just like, what the fuck is this? All right, it's a nice guy, but just don't start thinking you're some major fucking influencer, or even worse, just copying someone else's quotes. Like, it doesn't make you look good. Again, this personal brand thing comes down to being different. All right, and it's just shit. Don't do it, please. Okay, this ties into this. I can't think of many. I can think of two people with massive followings that I know on LinkedIn that for sure aren't using engagement pods. And I'm going to name those people as well. Two people that aren't: Heather Murray and Leah Turner. They're the only two people I know with a decent amount of followers who aren't in engagement pods. Now, if you don't know what an engagement pod is, it's basically a group of gimps who all hang out in like WhatsApp or in Telegram. They have their own private little group. And then when they post, they'll put the link in that group and get all the friends to like go and comment on it and stuff like that. I actually bought someone's program once. I won't say their name. I bought this guy's program. He's a sound guy. He knows what he's talking about. But I was, without even being asked, added into a WhatsApp group with about 50 other people in there who were all posting just their own links. And you had to go and engage with them. And I was like, fuck this, I am out. So the reason that I say this is every single influencer, LinkedIn influencer, apart from these two, I'm sure there are a couple more, but not many. All the big people that you respect, if you've been following people on LinkedIn for a while and you're in the creator economy, they're at it. They're fucking cheating you. They are fucking lying to you. All right. They are selling you LinkedIn growth when they get all their LinkedIn growth from a group of other people. So it's all these people in high places, and you can see it. You can spot the patterns, right? So when these people post, what they do is they'll put the post out, and then underneath it, it'll have a load of comments, load of likes, and also a load of shares. And if you go and check out half the comments, most of the shares, I think they're from bots. I think that it's just fake. But what that does is make people go, oh my God, this person's an influencer. I want to be like them. I'm going to buy their product. Just absolutely ridiculous. Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with it if people aren't selling LinkedIn growth, but they are, and they're cheating the system. Now, I am going to do a separate video about this. I don't know when. I've already filmed some of it, but it'll piss a lot of people off. So maybe not. Number 8, ignoring hooks. So if you don't know what a hook is, it's a headline. Okay. It's the first line or two of text on a LinkedIn post. My hook for this video was most people using LinkedIn wrong. They're underrated, even though people talk about them all the time. So there's a famous copywriter called David Ogilvy, and he had a quote that was along. Well, let me just tell you a bit more about him. So he worked on some of the biggest print advertising campaigns in New York, I believe. I don't know, a few decades ago. Absolute legend. So he's renowned for having produced some amazing ads. And there's this quote that he came up with, which is once you've written your hook, you've spent 80 cents of your marketing dollar. And this is why you'll see people say the hook, they spend 80% of the time on the hook. And I'm not sure they always do. But the concept remains, right? Because what we want, and I use ABC for this. This would be like the structure of a LinkedIn post. Okay, A, B, C. They're not necessarily the right length there. We want to get attention, then we have a body or a story, and then we have a call to action. Okay. If the attention or the hook isn't strong enough, people won't click that little see more button. If think about this in YouTube terms, if the hook there isn't strong enough, they're not going to get to the meat. All right. They're not going to get to the body. So therefore, if they can't get to this part, they will never get to this part. Not only does going through the whole thing build maximum trust, but we want them to come to this part because we actually want to tell people what to do next. So what I urge you to do if you're looking at, going in on LinkedIn or any form of marketing, it's why I say copywriting's a 7-figure skill. We're in a time of swipe gnosis, right? Everyone's just trying to find something to give them that dopamine hit. So you need to be able to stand out, particularly to your audience, but spend time looking at some decent writers and the first sort of 2 to 3 lines that they put out, or when you get hit with ads on like YouTube or Instagram, check out the first 5 seconds. Like, what are people saying there and then? Because that, if it makes you stop, is an effective hook. It served its job. All right. It tees up the body. All right. Or the breakdown, I sometimes call it. And you can litter these call to actions in between. I love the word call to action. Someone, again, I think it was a famous copywriter, said, this is actually, the hook is actually a call to attention, which is a great way of framing it. Okay. So take a look over the next week or so of the written or spoken or visual things that make you go, ooh, because that is the example of a good hook. And once you see them, they are fucking everywhere. And they're actually, it's like a little sport. It's quite fun. Number 9, other people. Big one. I would be a lot richer and I would be or have a much bigger audience if it wasn't for this. If it wasn't for me caring too much about what other people thought. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's fucking true. All right. I probably stalled my journey by about 5 years. And you're probably the same. All right. Palms are sweaty, getting ready to post that first ever LinkedIn or Instagram post. No one gives a shit. No one cares. If there's anyone that you think is going to give you trouble or you're worried about putting content in front of, just block them. I'm not joking. I was still employed when I started my second LinkedIn profile because I couldn't use my first one because I was employed. So I started a second one. I put it under the name Dave Jones, and I blocked everyone I worked with, all the clients, all the colleagues, all the management, all the directors. Even I have very, very good mates there as well, and I blocked them all. And that now I don't care. I've actually not unblocked them, but I wouldn't care if they saw my content. But I needed to remove that blocker. All right, that was a serious blocker for me. And you are likely in a similar boat. Okay, it's very scary to put yourself out there, but again, it comes back to this. You have to put yourself out there as a person. If there's something or someone that's standing in the way of doing that, remove them. All right. You haven't got time to like shield yourself or mask who you are when it comes to building a personal brand. 'Cause it's getting harder and harder and harder. Now, a lot of people go, oh, it's all about the clients, not bothered about the personal brand. But the personal brand is the insurance that you can carry with you wherever you go. The clients, once they pay, I've sit in rooms with people in masterminds and stuff like that. And none of them, or very few of them, have built an organic personal brand. They've all just gone down the ads route because it's a lot easier, but you just have to pay for it. But the thing is, that's completely transactional, whereas the personal brand side of things is relationship based. Okay, people actually get to see you a lot more, and they see you in your rawer forms because you're sharing some of that personal stuff that I mentioned. Now, I think this is part of the reason why people tend to go with the biz content, because they don't have to put themselves or them true selves out there. But all that does is limit your potential for business, but also massively limit your potential as a creator as well. And if you look at any of the people that, Leah Turner's a great example of this. She is just herself. She doesn't give a fuck. And it is refreshing as hell. That's why so many people buy into it, because everyone else is just talking about the business, whereas Leah's actually drawing you in with her life. And it's what I aim to do, what other people aim to do as well. So unapologetically yourself is the phrase that the boss babes use. And that's what you need to do. And once you do, and it could take 6 months, could take a year. We've helped clients do it in like a matter of weeks. It is so liberating. It's untrue. But you have to put the big girl pants or the big boy pants on and actually just put a little bit of yourself out into the ether. Last but not least, number 10. Only posting feed content. I've mentioned a couple of times, the organic game is getting harder and harder, and it will continue to do so until a new social platform pops up. And like TikTok did a couple of years ago, it delivers you all this free reach and people can blow up very, very quickly. It's going to get harder to play. Therefore, if you want to maximize without a doubt, YouTube or LinkedIn, the best platforms, hands down. If you want to maximize this, you've got to maximize the features. So feed content views are down, yeah, but I've recently just been posting articles, and the views and the number of clicks and downloads that we get from them are insane compared to the feed content. So it's looking at other elements that you can utilize, going live, doing any form of collaboration. Commenting can work as well. DMs especially, you should be reaching out to a number of people every single day who are in this, what I call the priority pipeline, going from hot to cold. The articles or the newsletters, for sure, they're working really well at the moment. And a whole host of other things, because everyone's trying to compete in the feed. Why? Again, because people are fucking lazy, and that's the easiest thing. You just fucking get some AI stuff, stick it in feed, blah, blah, blah. They're not going live, not making videos as well. Videos are a great differentiator. That's why I do this stuff, because no one else is doing it, or very little number of people are doing this style anyway. So that's it. I've got something for you. I don't know what it is. I'll stick it in the comments. I was trying to aim for about 30 minutes, so there we go. If you want to find out more about how we can help, or the process that we take our clients on, and help them swerve all of this shit, then you can check out the free training. Alternatively, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, or if this is on YouTube, I don't know where I'm going to put it, you can click about, and we have options available to work with us. We don't work with idiots. We don't work with people who aren't good as well. So make sure you tick that criteria. But I'll put some free stuff around as well, so you can go and check out and learn a bit more.